Wasn't it like a fade out smooth thing? Actually, I'm just gonna add you, Anthony. I don't have like an
All
introduction.
right.
Like I'm not very good at like introductions, but I think everybody knows who you are here, right? I feel like we have
I
like the
hope.
same. We have a lot of the same people, which is cool. So Anthony Greeno from True Crime Investigates. We're both streaming actually at the same time. So can we tell like when on StreamYard who's from where? That you can't tell, huh?
No,
Okay.
no, I can't tell who's from where. So I recognize names a lot and stuff, but I can't tell who's from where on StreamYard.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you post, it should post to both destinations. So you should be able to when you send a message, it'll send it to my chat and your chat.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know if mine does the same thing since I'm the guest. I'm gonna type in "Hey Tess." Tell me if everybody in Zab's chat can see that. If you can see that in her chat, let me know. I know it'll show up in mine. Let me know if it's in hers because
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be
I can
interesting.
communicate with mine. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, I've never done it this way. I had one time where Tyler streamed, but what he did was he just streamed. I don't know how he did it. We didn't do it like this. He just like streamed it from his channel. I guess maybe shared a screen or something. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, they can see it.
Oh, they could see both. Okay, cool.
Mhm. Okay.
Well, welcome everybody. Hi, is there anybody that I don't know? I'm Zab girl,
This is Zab
Tiffany.
Girl.
This
You
is
guys should
Anthony.
know who she is, Tiffany. Yeah, there you go. You guys should know who she is. We've talked about her before in the past, and we've had her on the stream. So
Yeah,
she,
yeah.
so you you got into this Delphi stuff, and it's kind of ironic because the moment that we connected and started talking about this, then all this crazy stuff starts happening, and it's like, whoa.
Isn't
Your
that
thoughts?
crazy? Yeah, because you're like Delphi. I mean, that's what you're famous for, basically. And you've been doing an awesome job covering it. So yeah, that is crazy that we start talking and all of a sudden new stuff came out. Um, so as far as I was kind of surprised, I want to get into that podcast. I was actually kind of surprised though how they didn't just like put off that didn't mean that it wasn't that. Did you listen to it all? Like I thought for sure they were gonna go the route where they're like, oh, nope, it's not a ritual. Look what he said. But they didn't put it off completely. I don't know if you listened to, but I was kind of surprised that they didn't. I was expecting them to be like, oh, it's just all, yeah, don't believe it. But they didn't really. So,
I know, and it's like I don't know. The murder sheet gets me in an uproar sometimes because they are. So, like, here's my question: how are they getting all this information when people are under a gag order and they got documents and stuff like that? Like, who's saying this stuff to them?
I don't know. I was hoping you knew. I'm so confused how they get this stuff. They get it before the news channels get it. Like, how did they? I don't understand that. Do you? Do you have any idea?
He's an attorney. She's a former reporter. He's an attorney. So they have connections in the media business. They're friends with all those news outlets. That's why they're friends with the reporters. That's why when the reporters go there, they're like, "Hey, man, come on. We'll, kind of promote you a little bit, get you some clout. You give us your breakdown as an attorney and a podcaster, and you look like the good people, and you have all the information." It's like, how is someone leaking information for someone to benefit financially and like through public interest and getting famous because they're getting leaked information? It's not even supposed to be leaked in the first place.
I know. I know.
Under court order.
I don't know. It's wait. So when this says Richie member for 3 months, I don't even know. Is that me or you? I don't know even what that
It's got to be
means.
you. It's got to be
Why
you.
though?
It's got to
Why
be
do
you. I just started my membership. It's
Oh,
you.
okay. Rich, 3 months. Thank you. Okay. Wonder if there's gonna be a way to tell.
Yeah,
So
it's not mine.
I definitely want to get into the politics and that stuff, but I want to first talk about the statement real quick. So they had pointed out on that podcast, they had made a statement how they didn't necessarily say it wasn't those guys. They just said it wasn't a ritual. You know what I'm saying? So Click was, maybe he was going the route where he was thinking it was those guys, but maybe it wasn't all around the Odinism. I don't know. I feel like he's hard to trust now. Like his credibility is shot because he had that letter written, and then that can't be a lie, right? Like there has to be a letter, right? I mean, I'm
Here's
so
here's here's that's the question. That's why I thought we title it mixed signals, because we don't know what to believe. You got normally it's like people look at you if you're crazy if you say, "Well, don't trust the cops. They're liars." People are like, "Yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever, they're not lying like that. They're not that bad. I can understand some cops, blah, 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 but not a whole department and not anything like this." But the fact of the matter is, it is believable because they've been caught doing these kind of things multiple times over 30 years. And it's like sometimes the people that sound crazy the whole time actually ended up knowing what was going on, and we don't know what to believe. So I'm on the fence. I don't know. I mean, I know that we can't trust law enforcement because of past experience. But I also know that we can't trust, a dude who's accused of killing the 2 girls either.
I know, because like, of course, he's trying to get his guy off, so they're gonna try to get grasp at anything. Um, and then seeing that F like with court TV, like that's reaching. I mean, if that's really
The
what it
big time.
looks like, then that is. But there is way more than just the F though. So there's a lot more that convinces me that's not even like on the top of the list of the stuff. But that part right there, it's like, huh, like if they're saying that that's a for sure F, it makes me wonder what the other things that they said that there's like pictures of, but what if they are perceiving this stuff like and we look at it and we're like, those sticks just look like they were thrown. I mean, or but see the interviews and stuff, that's the thing though. That's pretty big, like the Elvis's sisters, even Elvis, Brad's ex-wife, like that kind of stuff. That's kind of convincing in itself, though.
It is convincing, and it kinda makes me wonder, man, because like, law enforcement said at the beginning of this case in a press conference. I was there on February 22nd. I was standing there when he said it. Captain Dave Burston of the Indiana State Police said in there, they said something about, the way the girls were killed. "Can you tell us cause of death or anything like that?" And he's like, "No, we're not gonna tell you the cause of death because of this reason. That's an investigative strategy, and if we tell everyone that the suspect or the person was stabbed in the back and shot in the head, everyone knows that. Therefore, any tips that come in where someone might have said something to someone like, 'Hey, this guy said that he did it like this,' and it matches, that could be a credible tip because only the killer would know those things, right?" Well, this Elvis character made a statement to his sister the February 14th. This is the day that they're searching for the girls, okay? Prior to the morning of, prior to the bodies being found or any news that girls had been murdered that they're just missing, Elvis makes a statement to his sister and says that he killed 2 girls on a trail on a bridge the day before. He lives over 100 miles away. She turned that tip in after finding out about the Delphi case. They questioned him. He denied any involvement. They gave her a polygraph to prove that what she's saying that he said is true, and she passed. Ha-
Yeah, I mean,
okay. How did he know that?
I know. And how are they going so lightly on that? You know what I'm saying? How is law enforcement not like, whoa, how did he know that? Like how did she know that to tell us that, And then she passes a poly. It just I don't that confuses me how they just let
Well,
that go.
it seems
So
like this. These Odinist people, right, is what it's saying. If this is involved in Odinism, and let's say Richard Allen is the killer, that means he's the one that did that stuff, right? And they're trying to deflect it onto somebody else to try to point to somebody else because they're saying there's no connection to him and that. But if he is doing this behind everybody's back, his families and stuff like that, and he's keeping it a complete secret and he doesn't want it on his phone and they don't talk about that kind of stuff and they don't search that kind of stuff because it's secret, then maybe the reason that they all know is because they are involved in this, and this was something that their little group knew was gonna happen for him to either be initiated or something, and it just people said certain things, and you know what I mean? It kinda got leaked because the only people that seem to know anything about it are the people that are connected to that little Odinism thing. You know what I mean?
wait,
That
anything about what? Hold on, I lost you for a
the
second.
murders, like that Elvis dude and those people
Oh.
from Rushville, that they said they're a group of men from Rushville involved in Odinism, connected with a group of men from Delphi or this area from Odinism, and they met up here and committed these crimes and went back. If they're the only ones that know about this stuff, then it must be linked to that Odinism thing. presumably is what it
Yeah,
kind of looks
yeah.
like.
Yeah, and
But
how
who
do we
knows?
know that Richard doesn't have any Odinism stuff? They wouldn't tell us that. If they're trying to hide that, then would they tell us that? Because then it would link everybody else. So how do we know, like, on his phones or that he didn't have stuff? Do
Well, we
we
don't
know
know.
that?
They
Because everybody's like,
said
we
that.
don't. Well, he doesn't have anything connected to Odinism, but how do we know that he does? Yeah, like he might, and then they just don't want to say it because it'll link everybody else, and they're trying to. I don't know, but then I guess it
Well,
could link him too, though. So I don't know how to think about that.
now the defense is gonna. Here's the thing. This is the way we have to look at it. In every murder trial, you got two sides, and we look at it as a bigger picture. You got the prosecution saying that this person, that dude right there killed these people, saying it straight to the jury. Then you got the defense over here saying that dude right there didn't do anything. One of those people are lying. That's essentially what they're doing. This is the defense's way of just saying he's not guilty at all because of this. Turns out, usually the defense's holes get story gets holes poked in it, and they're found to be lying. I think that's the case with this. But here's the question. Why would all that weird stuff be happening at the crime scene if it wasn't some weird stuff? If it was just maybe it was some dude out there just wanting to do something sick, but there's a reason for it. A reason. There's a reason it happened. And
Yeah, and
I'm
I can't find the motive if it was Richard. What is his motive then?
just that ritual. It means
Yeah,
he would have to be it. He would have to be involved in that somehow or want to be.
and then the thing with Abby wearing Libby's clothes, that's really weird. So
And cleaned up, no
yeah,
blood.
yeah.
Like the pool of blood wasn't big enough under her to where she was killed right there. So my question is, where is that pool of blood located? Where was it? People were saying maybe in the water. Maybe he washed her off and cleaned her up and then put her there because
Yeah,
the only
maybe.
blood was from around the neck wound.
But how do you
That's
explain that? That
insane.
somebody put her clothes on? Like, I just don't think one person could
Did you
do it.
did you read the play-by-play
What do you mean to
on
play?
that? In that document, they had like a
Oh,
play-by-play of what they said. Like he lifted her, then he would have to like
yes,
lift
yes.
her head
Every
up and
single
grab and hold her
thing
here and lean like this. And I'm like, dude, they put a lot of thought into.
they did.
They might have
But
had
it's
someone
true.
actually like.
You'd have to That's a lot of work to do in that short of time. And then to risk being seen, getting your DNA. I mean, why would he risk all that if it wasn't like a purpose, like some kind of ritual? You know what I'm saying? Why would you risk doing that? What's the point of it if it's not meaningful in a different way? I mean, it makes no sense. You said Richard's voice doesn't match the guy that says down the hill. But who?
But here's the thing, everybody. He admitted to this 5 or 6 times on a phone call from prison to his wife, and then she abruptly ends the call. He didn't talk to her or see her anymore, and stuff he starts going haywire, and they say he's crazy in jail and needs to be moved and all this stuff, and they're trying anything to get him out of there to present a defense. Now he's
So
crazy?
five. Okay, so you're saying it was 5 or 6 times he admitted it to her?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was that many. So we know that only because the prosecution is saying that, right? That, like, are we sure they're like, do they have the recordings?
They said they have transcripts of it.
Okay.
We haven't seen them, but I'm sure they've got them if they
Transcripts. I
said
want to hear it. I don't trust them.
I'm sure they have the recording, but they're just gonna give us the transcripts of what was said. They won't
Uh,
let us hear it. I mean, maybe eventually we could get that, but it's probably right
I
now we
hope
wouldn't be able
I
to.
hope the judge makes sure he hears it. Well, we don't know. It could be all the way corrupt up until the judge, though, even, right?
Well, I kinda mentioned that on my show. It could go well, not this judge, because the special one was appointed from another county, from out of the county. But,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, the local law enforcement, yes, I believe it goes all the way up to a potential corruption into that, the judge,
So
Dina.
this new judge, you're saying you don't think he's probably the
The new
chances are
judge
not.
no,
Go ahead.
it's a chick from, uh Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is a bigger town northeast of Delphi. And
Okay.
when the judge recused himself in the Delphi case after he got basically scrutinized and YouTube videos made about him by everybody for kind of illegally sealing the documents for no reason, just to hide things,
Yeah, that was
he backed out of the case and said that it was because YouTube streamers and their bloodthirst for information. But people were trying to make sure that the police and government there were being transparent because they have a history of lying and snaking people over and making stuff up and getting caught literally. So whenever people ask for accountability, they tend to quit their jobs in that county proven history. A prosecutor, a fire marshal, a sheriff, everybody. They all quit as soon as they're questioned about any allegations that they may be involved in.
So weird, man. There's got to be something to that. Um,
I don't know Brad or Patrick. I don't know either one of them. I know who they are, but I don't know them.
oh, you do know who they are?
I know who they are, yeah, but I don't know them. So like after coming across all this stuff, when everything comes out, because like this Brad Holder guy came up right away, and he made those videos and stuff like that, asking or acting crazy and like he may be the suspect and stuff. But a few people did that, and it was kind of dismissed as well. I
Yeah.
highly doubt that suspect. If he's doing that, I'm sure the cops have looked into that dude, and they never really said anything more about it. And I'm like, some of the theories kind of got crazy with that because people kind of turned it into Abby was pregnant.
Yeah,
He
people are
wasn't going to let us
saying
pay child support, so they went out there and cut it out of her. And I'm like, it's just crazy people to
Oh.
think that stuff. Like, who thinks that? But I mean, with what the defense is throwing out, it's just as bad.
I still see people saying that about her. But I see people on his page being like, "Was Abby pregnant?" But there's no. I mean, if she, I don't believe that route. If they hid that, that would be messed up. If she was and they hid that, like they usually tell the public that kind of stuff. Like if she was
Mhm.
pregnant though, like if there's a murder and you know what I'm saying? They'll usually say it. I mean, at least all the cases I've
Yeah.
studied, if it was a pregnant woman, they would
And
say
I'm
it.
sure
But
that the crime scene would have shown that, and they would have mentioned that in there.
yeah, so I don't know. There has been a lot of things because the lack of information that they gave us, everybody's just thinking, just trying to figure it out and thinking all kinds of crazy things because I mean they didn't give us anything. So they wouldn't tell us anything. I wanted to show just like a couple parts so you guys and then read click statement real quick in case that some people haven't read it. I wanted to show you a couple parts of where it talks about who oh wait, why did that come up? Who Click is, if you guys forget which one Click was. Um,
So, okay, so yeah, we were just talking about that 3 investigators were those 3 investigators were, the defense mentions these 3 investigators and said that there was no involvement in that stuff, right? That they weren't in the FBI. I can't remember that.
wait, what do you mean? These 3
So,
are you
is
talking about
this Click's statement, right? Or is this the defense?
This is the defense right here. I just wanted to
Okay, yeah,
show what they said about him, and then we could read oh, you're
the
talking
other
about
one.
what he said on his statement about
Well,
the
yeah, but
investigator.
we wanna show the 2 different conflicting
Yeah.
stories between them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, read the defense first.
Yeah. Um, so I'm just gonna kind of read different parts real quick. The fact of the cumulative when they hold on, let me start. Where's the beginning of the sentence? There we go. Um, Under oath, Liggett actually believes. Oh, they're talking about more than one person. Where does this sentence pick up? When led credence to the fact that accumulation of evidence gathered by Murphy, Ferenczi, and Click strongly supports that on February 13th, several men from a pagan religious cult were involved. For some reason, Liggett is obviously not interested in wanting anyone, including Judge Diener, to know the evidence strongly supports an organized pagan cult. Hold on, let me go to the next one where it talks about him in the letter. Um, So it says the fruits of this investigation ultimately boomeranged Murphy as well as other law enforcement officers, Greg, Todd, back to Brad Holder, therefore back to Odinism. And then Murphy, Ferenczi, and Todd Click's dogged pursuit of the truth is what we citizens and those accused of crime should expect out of law enforcement. These honorable law enforcement officers were knocking on doors, conducting interviews, going wherever the evidence led them. Immediately following an interview, Murphy would reduce key aspects of that interview into a Word document. Over time, the Odin report grew from a single page from his first interview to 12 pages, with the last page used for summing up his thoughts from all the interviews he had conducted. Says the defense has attached this document to the memorandum, and then surprisingly to Murphy, even though he was handing over to the Unified Command powerful evidence that really painted a clear picture of who was involved in the murders, Holman and Liggett did not seem interested. Eventually, Murphy said the Unified Command phased out of the Odinite Rush County angle. He, Murphy, figured that this phasing out was due to the Unified Command knowing things that he, Murphy, didn't know that eliminated the Odinism angle. Murphy further stated, I kind of took my marching orders and just did what I was told and went where I was needed. In other words, he trusted the unified command. Hold on, where it goes into talk about, here we go. Where is it? Oh, it talks about
Okay,
the Odin
yeah.
report provides much information. However, the report is not the only source of evidence provided by the state that links these men to the murders. The investigative fingerprints of Todd Click and late Greg Ferenczi are prominently peppered throughout the Odin report. Click also prepared a roughly 85-page report and delivered it to the unified command. However, the defense didn't receive this document until September 8th, nearly 10 months after the defense counsel entered their appearance. It says, wait, where's the part where it says how he met with him? Remember? It talks about how he met with where is it at? Oh, so here, yeah, right. It must be right here.
Which part are you looking for?
I'm trying to make where he goes and meets with him, remember? And he says he wasn't convinced. He meets with the unified command Click, and he said that he thought that they were trying to like convince him, right? That
Yeah, it's
you
pretty
remember
much
that?
just comes out throughout reading all that, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it seems like a summary to us, but it's they draw it out into this long thing of this is what they did, this is when they provided these things, like, see this thing right there, like, on September 8th, again, McClellan provided the discovery after Liggett and prosecution realized the defense was fully aware of the Rushville connections. So they're saying that they held this information, didn't tell the defense about this Odinism angle. They said they didn't tell the judge, and it says, had Judge Diener known of this concealed evidence, the Diener would not or should not have signed the warrant, and the defense would have, and had the defense not dug in hard and found the needles in the haystack that led to this knowledge of Holder and Odinism, then the defense may never have thought to ask for a missing discovery, and McClellan would have never turned over the Click evidence to the defense. Without the Click letter, and the defense would have not learned of other exculpatory evidence. So they're saying that Liggett did this intentionally and recklessly to mislead the judge into believing that there was more probable cause against Richard Allen so they could get a search warrant to get into his house to frame him with evidence. And they're pointing it at these guys. Now, these guys make good sense. The defense had, go back up real quick. Right there, the defense. So this is Elvis Field's connection to the crime scene. The defense has previously discussed and presented the side-by-side photos that demonstrate that Elvis was mimicking Brad Holder by taking the time to recreate Holder's Facebook posts. Elvis would then post the recreated Facebook post. What else did Ferenczi say? Click and Murphy unearthed in their investigation that would connect Elvis to the crime scene. The Odin report provides much of the connective tissue. So this is going into, I'm part of a gang now and have a brother. So that was a statement made,
Yep.
right? And
Yeah, by Elvis.
you,
Yeah.
you want to go into Elvis's stuff?
You want me to read it, you mean? Or
Yeah,
what do
you
you mean?
can. You can if you want.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see where it goes with the Click. Does it talk
Now
about?
talk to Elvis, right?
Yeah, well, it's in the Odin report. That's what they said, that with the Odin report provides much of the connective tissue. Yeah. So this is the one that people were saying yesterday that Mary Jacobs, the sister that took the polygraph, that she's actually died in a fire, which I still haven't looked into that. But which, I mean, was that on purpose? I mean, is there something going on there? But it says, Mary Jacobs told law enforcement that on February 14th, Elvis was rambling, hyper, and borderline incoherent. He was talking about having a brother and was now a part of a gang. Because it says even though he had no male siblings. And so he's now part of a gang. Elvis told Mary that he had been on a bridge with 2 girls that were killed. Elvis told her that someone named Abigail was a pain in the ass and troublemaker. And she said Elvis tried to give her a blue jacket. Oh, try to give Mary. Why did I miss this the first time? So Elvis tried to give Mary, his sister, a blue jacket. She told him that she had her own jacket. Dude, I missed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
After Elvis made these statements, she became aware of the Delphi murders and put 2 and 2 together. So sometime 2 to 3 weeks after Elvis made those statements, her and her husband, Troy, drove to Delphi. While in Delphi, she talked to the cops about things Elvis had told her on February 14th, but due to a mass amount of tips that were generated, her information may have been overlooked. The defense has requested the prosecutor locate this tip sheet that contains accurate details into exactly when Mary Jacobs and her husband visited law enforcement officials in Delphi, what was communicated during the visit. Unfortunately, this is yet another piece of evidence that the defense has not received.
Wow. Wait, when Mary Jacobs and her husband visited so they haven't received it? What? So, oh, the spit found on the girls. That's interesting. No, but is this in the Odin report too? Because they started off and it led into it because they said this is the stuff that was in like Click's Odin report. It's the connect. He showed how they were connected, the connective tissue.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it goes in to say that, look, a lot of people have the same issue. So she submitted a tip, and then it says in December 2018, a long time later, she enlisted the help of an old acquaintance. She asked a friend of hers, Misty, to help her get in contact with the cops. She's probably saying, man, I ain't heard nothing back. Like, I'm firmly believing he's involved in the murders, and they don't even call me back or ask for anything. And it said right there, law enforcement never followed up with her from earlier in the year when she drove and told them what happened. So she was still concerned. So she worked for Homeland Security out of Greenfield. So she was trying to hope that she could assist in getting someone more interested in it. Well, they passed it on, and then she was interviewed again in February 2018. That's when they gave her that polygraph to make sure that she had been truthful, and she passed. The
wow.
interview was videotaped. There it is.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
They even
So,
confirmed the interview and said that was all true. So Elvis agreed to take a mouth swab.
yeah.
Elvis was aware that DNA from this mouth swab would be compared to any DNA from the crime scene. They dropped him off at his trailer. Okay, and just before Elvis is walking back to his trailer after police dropped him off, Elvis turned around, walked back to Trooper Kevin Murphy's vehicle. When Elvis came near the squad car, Elvis posed the question, Murphy, what would have happened if my, okay, so I'm going to say as he would have, what would have happened if my spit is found on one of the girls? But Elvis has an explanation. Would he be in trouble? And then he turned around and walked back into his trouble. So what would happen if my DNA was found on the girls? Would I be in trouble? And then he
Yeah.
left. What?
So, yeah, I mean, and this was all they said it was in the Odin. So this was in that 12-page, okay, described on page 1 of Odin report. This is all a part of the report that Click wrote. So that helped gather all this stuff, right? So it's just for him to say that. So, but hey, he didn't say that these guys weren't involved though in that statement. He just said it wasn't a ritual, but I mean, if these guys were involved, I mean, how wouldn't it be some kind of ritual, right?
Yeah.
So now this is Joyce. She just made her Facebook private. Because yesterday she was responding to people. Did you see that, Anthony? Because she was responding to people, but never once did she say, I didn't say that. People were asking, well, why did you tell Elvis, or why did you tell cops that Elvis told you this, that he admitted to it? Never once did she say, I didn't say that. And now she made it private, but she was just trying to be like, oh, like, stop picking on my brother. But she didn't say, I never said that. So, so
Yeah.
yeah, Joyce is still alive, but Mary, it sounds like Mary, yeah, the sister that took the polygraph, she's died in a fire, they said. So I think I don't know if it's 2021 or
Dude, and this is dangerous. Like, so over the years, we've heard from law enforcement and we've seen online for different people get on here and they'll find a suspect in Delphi. They're not even from here. They find some dude that looks like the guy, kind of, based on a picture. And they'll just go grab some random picture of some dude on Facebook and throw him out there and be like, this is the killer. He's blah, 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 and make several YouTube videos about him. Right. And this dude probably has no clue this stuff's even going on, dude. For months, people all over the world are knowing who this guy is and pointing this guy as pointing a finger at this guy as the murderer. And like, that's detrimental, man, because someone could go kill that dude thinking that dude is just a piece of shit and be like, you know what, we're just going to kill him and get rid of him. Right. So they come
yeah.
out lots of times and law enforcement says, don't do that to people. Don't publicly scrutinize people. Don't point the finger at people that, unless we say that this person may be involved, don't believe it. And nobody's involved until they're arrested. That's exactly what the defense just did, is threw all these people under the bus and pointing the finger at them as killers. giving an organization of Odinism and that religion a bad name right off the rip.
Yeah,
We
that's
see
true.
about that, you know what I mean? And giving a bad name to these other people and scaring all these other communities that these people are involved in. I'm sure people in Rushville are freaking the hell out right now, like, dude, what is going on in our community? Like, and now they're finding out information about these people in their town. They're probably getting just as curious as I am and just as worried that their town may not be what it seems.
Yeah, I mean, I would be scared. So I wonder if new tips are gonna come in because now that this came out, where, like, people that know these guys are like,
I'm sure.
"Wait a minute," and they remember something about that, you know? So might new stuff might come out. And this is all true. He did okay, so he did live with her because we were reading the Facebook. So yeah, so he was living with her when it happened, and he see in 2017, well, no, the fall 2017. So actually it would have wait, hold on. Elvis had made her
So he moved in with
statement. Oh,
Joyce
he
in the
made the
fall of
statements in the
2017.
fall. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Mary was the one that he right
Mhm.
made the
So
statements
it says
like
that
right away. Yeah.
yeah, he moved in with them, and then he made incriminating statements about being on the trail where the girls were murdered. He confirmed that he had indeed spit on them, on one of them. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, he said, "I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm going away for a long time. I was on that trail and that bridge with those girls when they were murdered. There were 2 other people there with me, and when it happened, I spit on one of the girls." So, I wonder he said 2 other people, but it would be 3
it's
I
right
mean,
there.
from their
Elvis
I
lied to police claiming he didn't know Johnny Messer, even though Johnny Messer said that he not only knew Elvis, but him and Elvis was interested in joining Messer's and Brad's Holder's Vinlander crew.
mm,
That's 2 other people. That would exclude Richard Allen from being there, but Richard Allen already admitted to being there
yeah.
and was seen there. So, where are these other people at? That's my question. Where does that fall into this timeline? And all these other people who claim to be witnesses, how come they didn't mention seeing any other vehicles or any other cars or anything like that there? And the cameras that were there that caught other people didn't catch these people.
That's
That's
what
where
they
the
s
holes in the story poke. But if law enforcement's lying about how that whole thing went down, we don't know.
Oh. But isn't there a way to get into that park, like, through, like, woods where they wouldn't have been on the trail? Is there a way
Yes,
to get
yes,
would it
it's this. There's a cemetery right there. Okay, so there's a cemetery there that that's where the girls were brought out. So the cemetery butts up to this huge woods where they were found. And like if you kind of walk through the woods, you could get to the trail, but you got to walk up and down some valleys. But then again,
um
how the hell would Elvis know this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, well, what about do you know who that Teresa Lieber is that said they saw like,
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
she
how
lives right
maybe
there.
she saw him, okay, that somebody that maybe looked like him, like, was out and then he, like, went and, like, hid real quick, so and that was at, like, 8 in the morning, so what if they were scoping out the place, they were there wait, how early though Abby and Libby did they know, like, the day before they were going there? When did they talk about going there?
Here's the weird part. So they said at the beginning that it was just a spur of the moment thing that she asked her sister to drop him off at the high bridge on her way into town.
Yep.
Years later, we come to find out that she was actually in communication with Anthony Schatz, a fake social media profile connected to a man out of Peru, Keegan Klein. Keegan Klein was or he is a habitual catfisher, you know, CP type of stuff involving young kids. Was in communication with the girls the night before and agreed to meet them at the Monon High Bridge that day. The following day, he Googles how to get to the Marathon gas station in Delphi, but claims he never showed up. And all of a sudden, that's kind of how it linked him to the case.
Wait, I
So
didn't
he said
know
he was
he
going to meet him
did
there that
that
day and then
marathon.
never showed
Okay.
up. He even
I
said
didn't
he was there in a red Jeep.
I thought that was all, like so this is, like, confirmed that he said that? I didn't know he looked up how to get to Marathon in Delphi. I didn't even know that. Okay. Wow. Um, he was
Which is the only gas station closest to Richard Allen's house at the time.
and so the red Jeep thing, that was where did that come from?
Keegan himself, he said that.
Okay. Man. See, I don't there's a lot that I don't know about this. So did anybody see a red Jeep there that
No,
day? Okay.
That's the problem. Nobody saw a red Jeep there. Nobody saw it. I asked Keegan straight face to face when he was walking down the stairs, "Did you murder Abby and Libby?" He didn't answer me. "Do you know Richard Allen?" I wanted to know those two questions. And he got on the Murder Sheet podcast the following day and answered those two questions. No, I didn't kill him because he heard what I was yelling at him. And no, he doesn't know Richard Allen. Said that he was 11 when the dude was there in his town. They just happened to live kind of near each other. He doesn't know him, has no reason to know him.
Wait,
So how
Keegan
did
Klein was on Murder Sheets? What?
Oh, yeah, he's been on several times. So yeah, he does interviews with people and stuff like that. So
From jail?
yeah, on a video chat and
Dude, I
audio.
want to see that. Wow, I didn't know that.
You've
Okay.
never knew that? Yeah, there was a part of it in that video I sent you last night that was talking about like the Murder Sheet's involvement. Like the Murder Sheet put in requests to release these documents and stuff like that because they're like everybody needs to know, and then it comes out all this stuff, and it's like he says a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't know. He just got 43 years in prison, and there's no
Yeah.
There's no talk of him being involved. I don't know.
Thanks,
It's a lot.
Jonathan, for the super chat. Saying hi tonight. I'm so behind in the case. Yeah, I know it is a lot, Jonathan. So it's what's going on 7 years worth of stuff. So yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that's that you'd have to catch up on, but it's interesting. Okay, so Keegan Klein. So yeah, I'm gonna have to watch those. But do you think he is connect? Do you think he has anything to do with it?
I don't know. I don't think he does now, but I do think it's a big coincidence that during the investigation, they looked through their social media to see if they could find any link to a murder. Well, when they did that, they end up looking into this Anthony Shots dude and found all this other stuff in these other investigations. Okay. And that led them to go over there, but it was connected to this. So I think that maybe law enforcement knew that they would get a bigger response if they said, "We're looking for connection or information on this guy here," but they tied it to the Abby and Libby case. You know what I mean? So that made everybody more aware of it. More tips would come in, kind of sensationalize it a little bit. They're not lying about being connected because he did contact him, but
Yeah.
at the time, I don't think that they knew who the murderer was, and they were kind of reaching, and they thought it was in that direction. That may be why they changed the sketch to a younger guy, because they thought it was more like a younger catfisher kid type dude around Keegan's age, 20s.
Who do you think that sketch, the younger one? I mean,
Well, they're saying the defense is saying that Betsy Blair, the witness that walked to the bridge and said that she saw a guy looking like Richard Allen standing there on the bridge, gave a description of a sketch. They're saying that she actually said that, no, that's not what the guy looked like. He looked like a young kid, and this was the sketch that she gave, the younger one.
yeah, I saw
They're
that,
saying
and
that
I'm wondering
the cops
who it
lied
could
and changed their
be.
statement is what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, and then they tried to Carter tried to make us believe that those were the same how those aren't how is that the same person? They're totally different people. So weird
Dude,
how they tried to convince us that. I never
oh my
understood
gosh.
that.
Do you have a picture of both those? Can you pull up a
Yeah,
picture of both those so everybody can
yeah.
look at them? These two sketches, ladies and gentlemen, are crazy because they have a younger looking guy on a sketch, okay, that was created 3 days after the murders but never released. Then 5 months into the investigation, July 17th, 2017, they released a sketch of a guy with a goatee, a hat, and said, "This is the person that we believe is the bridge guy." That's what he looks like based on witnesses. 2 years later, in April 2019, they released a new sketch and said, "This is the person. Forget that other one. We want you to look at this guy. He's 18 to 40, lives in or around Delphi, has reddish brown hair, weighs 180 to 220 pounds, and is 5'6" to 5'10". Richard Allen is none of those things except 180 to 220. He's shorter than 5'6". He lived in around Delphi, but he's not 18 to 40. Okay. So that would take him out of the equation completely. But eventually, when he's arrested, he looks just like the other sketch that they said forget about. And then they came and said, well, he could look like any one of them or somewhere in between. And I'm like, well, that's like saying he could look like me or Zav Girl.
I know.
It's one of us. It could be a guy. It could be a girl. He could, I mean, he could have long hair,
Oh,
blonde hair, black hair. We don't know, It could be a black guy right there. I mean, we're not too sure
I know. Oh my lord.
like how much more confusing do you get?
I know.
Okay, are we looking for that guy, this guy, or just whoever? Because, I mean, here's what I told everybody. I said, well, there's only 2,000, like almost 3,000 people in Delphi. I'm sure I could get a list of everybody there, and I'm just going to tip in every single person, and somebody will be the right person, right? Every single person out of 3,000. Over how many tips they say? There's what? Over 150,000 tips or something like that. And there's only 3,000 people in Delphi. So how many people have been tipped? That's what I'm curious about.
Wait, how many tips did you say?
I said that I think there's over 150,000 tips that have been
Oh
submitted because
God.
they sometimes if you keep track, they'll be like, we've had 30,000 tips in the first, month. And then we've had like over 60,000 tips that we got to dig through. And when we're done, we're going to go back and dig through them again. And guess what? If they just went back and looked at those ones to begin with, they would have had the right tip the very next day when he came to the police and said what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Richard,
Richard
yeah,
Allen.
I mean, if Richard is involved, but it's weird how they didn't catch on to that. He was there, and especially because he said what he was wearing, right? Did he tell them
He
in the
said he was wearing
interview?
either a blue or black jacket.
And then they see that. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they know he was
Yeah,
there? Why
that's the
wouldn't
thing.
they?
The next day, they put his picture out and said, "We want someone to identify this guy. Does anybody know who that guy is? If he was on the trail, you just want to know what he saw. He was captured on trail cam. Everybody's been identified out there except this one man. We just want him to come forward and tell us what he knows." Now, they already knew that he was on that video, right? And they knew what happened. They were baiting him. But here's the thing. He already came in and told you. He already came in and told you who he is.
It makes no sense. And then what was it years later that made them go back to him? They just looked through the stuff again? I mean,
Someone reviewing the information went back on those tips and looked at it and said, "Hey, you might want to actually go check out the guy who admits to being there at the same time the murders happened, was seen by other people, and admits to wearing what he was wearing, just like the guy in the video. Might want to go back and look at that guy that seems kind of like he might be the suspect, dressed like him, acts like him, walks like him, looks like the sketch, kind of fits, admits to being there."
so you think that, but do you really think that is how it happened then? Or there's something more to that?
No, I think it's
That just
exactly
seems
how
like, I mean, I don't know. That just seems stupid that they would not see that to begin with. And
they called it a clerical error.
because think about it though, if they would have got it at the beginning, they would have had more evidence. They would have been able to like he wouldn't have been able to have how many years to get rid of things. They would have
They would have
had
had him in
so
2 to
much
3
more
days. 2 to
evidence.
3
Oh my gosh. He could
2
have
to
had
3 days they would have had.
DNA. They could have, yeah, the jacket, every, I mean, so much things, so many possibilities.
Real quick,
Um,
now it's been years, things happened. Who knows how long stuff stays around and stuff, like, they screwed it up, man, and that's why I think they realized that. That's why this new, corruption angle could be accurate because maybe they realized that and they were like, "Well, we're not gonna let this slip, and we're gonna have to arrest him somehow, so we'll come up with something since we know he's a killer."
oh, I
See what I mean?
see. Yeah.
Because they don't wanna look stupid like, "Oh god, dude, we had the tip the very first day. The dude came right to us. What are we
Yeah,
gonna
but
look
now,
like?"
so what about this other stuff? So now if you were to bet or guess, or if you had to pick, would you go the Odinist or would you do Richard Allen? If you had to pick right now, who killed him and you had to pick, who would you pick?
I'm kind of a cross between Richard Allen being an Odinist.
Okay, okay, yeah. And wait, and other people involved or just him?
Him.
Okay.
Maybe other people knew that this was gonna happen if it was some ritualistic thing or whatever, some group that they're involved in. Maybe they knew that it was gonna happen. It was planned to do this, but I think he committed the crime by himself as some form of either an initiation or some group connection. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's what I think.
So who do you think that this is like this person could be,
Same.
not, what do you mean?
That's a recreation of that sketch. The one on the left, some guy actually just makes them into real people on
Oh
YouTube.
no, I know that's the same. I mean, who is this
Oh,
young guy? I mean, do you think there was just another young guy there that day that has nothing to do with it, and that's who the person just thought this person looked shady, and then that's why, or because Richard? I don't think he looks. Do
You
you
know
think he
what?
looks like that? And
No,
she
he doesn't.
swore he was young. I don't think you'd
Yeah,
mistake Richard as being in his 20s or 30s. I don't know. Confuses me.
I don't know. I think that, I don't know, dude, because nobody I don't see anybody out there that looks like that. I had never
You
seen
know,
that before, like, I always thought that that sketch was crap, dude, and in the wrong direction.
this
I think
one.
it Yeah, I think it was totally in the they announced that new direction, I thought that was just the wrong way, and
Okay.
the cop that ended up running for sheriff that, quit, that we were talking about, kinda got ousted because of the corruption, because he wanted to ask for experts, and the sheriff and the investigator didn't want that, and that's kinda what led into them hiding everything in the first place. He even said that he thought that that Keegan Klein and catfishing angle was the wrong angle on the case, and they needed to pursue it somewhere else. He said that to me face to face, and he would verify that. His name was Mike Thomas. He was the one running for sheriff. He said that he
Oh,
thought that was the wrong direction, and they should have went somewhere else, and they didn't like that. And that's kinda why the corruption started with ousting him and rigging the election so they could maintain control of the county, wouldn't have to release their private information they wanted to keep secret to the public by keeping control of the sheriff's position and getting rid of him. You know what I mean? Because if he would have been elected sheriff, he would have put it all out to the public, and their corruption would have been exposed. Isn't that crazy? That sounds crazy, but that's actually true.
no,
It
I
even says
believe
it
it.
on
Yeah.
yeah, the news even talks about it, like it was a political scandal, and I've been saying this for 4 years on my channel live, that they will arrest somebody right before the election in the sheriffs to look like the hero small town sheriffs, and the investigator will become the sheriff, and it actually happened.
That's so crazy. So I mean, do you think if they wouldn't have arrested somebody, then he wouldn't have become sheriff? Did it have that much influence?
I think that it has a lot of influence. Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
And I think that they intentionally did that for the public because that day, everybody's, like, so happy and cheerful, and the next day, when you go up to the courthouse and everybody's already celebrating the arrest of Richard Allen and so happy in town, guess who you see when you see uptown? You see Tony Liggett, the guy running for sheriff, standing there, proud as could be. "Hi, I'm Tony Liggett. I'm so glad you solved the Delphi murder. You're such a good thank you very much. Do you have my vote?" "Yes, I have you have my vote, sir." You know what I mean? It was either him or some
Yeah.
out of towner, and they weren't gonna vote in an out of towner. They never do. Some cop from some other jurisdiction, they weren't gonna ever vote that person. They're gonna vote the local guy. He looked like the hero to the town. To the older community, it's all older people on Delphi. It's not a bunch of young kids. It's older community that respect those types of people in that position. It rolled
Wow.
perfectly for him. Perfect. And they're not even responding to these allegations. Like this click, he responded. The sheriff, the judge, the former sheriff, these people are not coming out and saying, you know what the defense is saying is crap and they're liars. They're not responding. Why? Why don't you come out and say their defense is full of shit, everybody?
Do you think
They're
they
trying to
will
plant seeds in
though?
the ground. No, I don't
You
think
don't
they
think?
will. I called them and asked, and they wouldn't even answer the phone. The sheriff
Oh,
won't answer the
really?
phone. Yeah, you can call
Wow.
up there and ask for them, and they won't even answer the phone. They'll just
They're
ignore it.
they're probably getting so many phone calls right now, I bet. Wow. Let's read that statement real quick with Click since we did just get done reading, what Click was kind of saying before and what his investigation consisted of. So he's talking about statement from Click. There are two things that I would like to clear up immediately, though. Detective Ferenczi and Detective Murphy were not Rushville cops. Detective Ferenczi was a detective from Terre Haute Police Department that was assigned to the
Terre Haute.
FBI. What is it?
Terre Haute.
Terre Haute. Was assigned to the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. Detective Murphy was an Indiana State Police detective that was also assigned to the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. So the FBI was associated with the investigation until at least July 2021. Secondly, no one in law enforcement believes Abby and Libby were killed in a ritual sacrifice. That is the defense twisting facts for sensationalism. Sensationalism. You can quote me on those two items. Um, No one in law enforcement believes Abby and Libby were killed in a ritual sacrifice. Okay, maybe click. Can you answer? Do you believe that that Elvis or Brad or any of them were involved? Like, because we're I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take it. Do
Look,
you think he's being pressured by anybody, like, high up to say this or no?
who? Click? No,
Click,
I think
yeah.
that I think he just got pissed off and responded to it and was like, "No." You know what I mean? You're not gonna twist my words up. He's also saying that he was kind of a part of the FBI's behavioral analysis unit, which the defense claims wasn't even used, or I guess. So, I don't know, man. That's why I wish there wasn't a gag order and stuff like that, man, 'cause I would go there and to this dude and ask straight up, "Please, I'll do an interview, dude. It's unedited, uncut. Say what you want. Put it out there to us." But the problem is every time I try to reach out to someone, they're always like, "Man, I'm under a gag order. I'm under a gag order. I can't comment. I can't even acknowledge that I'm a part of that." And I'm like, it's hard to get any answers anymore,
But
you
yet
know?
that murder I don't understand how they get that. Are they, like, not are they
It's
exempt
illegal.
from
No, it's illegal. That's what's going on. Is someone in there is giving information and, like, it's kinda pissing me off too because it's like all they're doing is giving the defense light, you know what I mean, to shine on, and it seems like here's what the thing is, how did the murder sheet and these other people listen, I've been hearing on my channel that, like, these other people, this dude named Fig Solves, he's got a channel, he talks about Delphi. Now, he's been saying for a few weeks that something big was getting ready to happen in beginning or mid-September, and it would rock the investigation. He'd been saying this, and I heard, and I was like, "What is there going to be some sort of an arrest?" That's what people were saying, rumors. So I asked him the other day. I said, "Look, man, I hear this rumor that you keep saying that there's something big going to happen. It was September 15th." I said, what is this information?" He's like, "Well, I wish I knew, but I was told something was going to happen." Guess what? A few days later, this happens. How did he know? Who told him that? Who told the murder sheet that? The defense?
Wow.
Is the defense telling the murder sheet stuff to try to get them to put stuff out so the news starts hitting on it, so it plants, reasonable doubt in their client? Are they secretly using social media to influence because they know social media is a big part of this case? I mean, when the cops put out the release about Keegan Klein, they didn't do so on the news. They went on YouTube and released it. A public statement about the murders. We want information. They dropped it on your YouTube videos. Not a public press
Huh.
conference. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that
Everything's
is.
social media related with this case. Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. They even asked for tips on this Yubo app.
Mm,
Okay.
never
Everything's
heard of it.
social media related that they're doing, and they're all trying to deflect it down onto, kind of everything that's been said on YouTube, social media, and stuff like that.
Wait, who's saying, we have sources within, that is how who's we, Dustin? Do you know who's we? Are you a part of the murder sheets, or I'm
No,
confused.
he's a podcaster.
Oh, okay. So you have wait, so you have sources within too, or you can is he connected to? Huh.
Um,
Wonder why
I'm
they
not
never
sure.
was Richard ever asked to take a polygraph? Wonder why they don't try to ask him. Maybe he was, and I mean, he can deny it, but
Don't
uh,
know. I mean, I know I would love to see that interview. Um, I would love to see that interview because I want to know exactly what he said, how it went down. And here's my thing, man. I watch interrogations all the time, and sometimes I make videos on suspect interrogations and kind of how it went down and why either the cops screwed up in the interrogation or the suspect screwed up. Kind of play it from both sides. If you're the suspect, you want to be silent. If you're the cop, you want to ask as many questions, get as much information. Sometimes they don't push hard enough. Sometimes they're pushed too hard on a dude. Sounds to me like they went in there and was like, "Hey, man, check it out, dude. So we got your gun, but we went ahead and we want to ask you some questions, man, about that day again. Let's just go over it one more time real quick. We got to read you your rights. This is just a formal thing we got to do. Blah, blah, blah. You understand these? Yes. Doesn't realize he's in trouble. Okay, gets in there. So let's go over again what you did that day. Okay, I did this. It all matches. Okay. Man, do you own any firearms? Yeah. Okay, so that firearm that you had, is there a reason that maybe an unspent bullet that was ejected through your firearm was found at the crime scene? Said he had no explanation for that. Have you ever let anybody borrow it? No. Okay. Well, uh, did you commit the murders of Abby and Libby? No, never saw them out there. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and arrest you right now. You know what I mean? For the murders because we think that you did it. I don't think they'd sit in there and grilled him, because I would have been like, look, dude, you were seen by this person, this person, this person. We got your car. We got the evidence right here. Listed out for you. What's up? What's up now, Richard? You going to tell the truth, or you going to bullshit us? You know what I mean? And like, grill him like that. Don't sit there and let him walk out of there with saying nothing. Push his ass. Make him say something. Push, 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 push. Tell him, be like, look, dude, your wife's already came in here and said, you know what I mean? We already found proof. Did you know that there was another trail cam up the road that caught your license plate number and you in it? Lie to him. Convince
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true. They do that all the time. They could lie. Yeah, that's true. They should have just this.
And I don't think they did, dude. I think they just left it as is, and now they're just rolling with it. They could have got that confession then if they pushed him. Lie to him. Just lie to him. Dude, we got you on video here, here, and here. Now what? What are you going to say now? Then they usually are like, well, then they try to explain the reason why that happened. Okay, so now their story's changed. Oh, well, I was seen there because, oh, okay, so now
Yeah.
your story changed from you weren't there to now you were seen there because of this reason. And then their lies start to stack up. And that's how they end up getting all caught up in their twisted thing. And then they eventually just break down emotionally, and that's it.
So how is he connected to the girls? I wonder if he knew they
I
were
don't think he is
going,
at
or
all. I don't
he
know.
just.
That's what poses the big question. Because when he walked onto the trail, he passed 3 girls walking. They said hi to him. He just looked at them and walked by. Well, he also saw another lady that walked through the bridge and stood there, and he was just right up the road, or just right on the platform. He saw her too. Okay, so that's another person that plays in there. Why didn't he kill her? But 1 minute later, when she left, Abby and Libby showed up. He killed them. Is it because they went to the other side of the bridge? If someone else would have went to the other side of that bridge, if he'd have waited about 10 more minutes, 2 other women who were adults, you know what I mean? That would have been like, if you were looking to commit a crime on someone, that would have been another perfect opportunity, because it was 2 females on the trail alone, and they walked all the way to the other side. Okay. He could have done it to them. So my question is, if Abby and Libby hadn't shown up, would those 2 adult females been the ones targeted and forced to do that? Or was it kids? It had to be kids.
I know. I'm wondering if it's because they were younger. I don't know
I think it
why
was
I'm having
maybe a
trouble just
combination of they were
seeing
young and they were,
him do it by
I know.
himself. But just by himself, like I don't know. I'm just still thinking that if he did it, there's somebody else helping him.
He was in the crime scene from 2:13 when he's seen on video with them until he's seen at 4:50 or 3:57. So about an hour and a half almost.
Wait, when was he seen at? Are we sure that that was him that was seen at 3:57?
No, in the video of Noelle, no, we're not sure, I guess, but that's what the witness says, that she passed a man wearing this. Well, I don't know. The defense says that they lied about her statement. She said that she was driving and was driving down the road, and he was walking like on the road back to his vehicle away from the woods, the bridge, and his clothes were muddy and bloody, and he was wearing a blue jacket. Is what she said. But the defense says that the cops are lying about that, and that he wasn't bloody or muddy, and or any of that stuff. And and the
Tan
guy that she
jacket.
saw was wearing a tan jacket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't know.
So
Can't decipher
I
what's
don't.
the truth here. Don't know.
Well, the defense could call those witnesses at the trial, right?
They can
Hopefully
call those
they'll.
witnesses at the trial. And here's the thing: is I had 2 people come to me during this whole case. One lady, and I put this information out, and it still may be true, and I don't know. One lady said that she was walking her dogs on the other side of the bridge around noon and saw this guy standing there, and she talked to him for a brief moment and left. Okay. This lady has not spoken to me since this year. She won't answer my questions, because when this probable cause affidavit came out, I thought, well, that lady's not even mentioned in that, so she's lying to me. But there's other people mentioned in there that I'm not seeing. But if the cops are lying about what happened, then these people actually could be witnesses, and the cops have lied about it, because she said that, and an older man wearing a flannel shirt named David McCain said when he was on his way to the trail, he passed the guy in the blue coat walking back towards the parking area. Okay. Now that would have meant that those other 2 girls that came to the bridge were on the bridge. The suspect walked through the woods and back onto the trail and left. It made perfect sense at the time, but law enforcement didn't put any of that in their report. So it makes me wonder, did that even happen? Like, but the defense saying that Richard Allen wasn't that guy walking on the road makes me think that old man could have seen him on the trail because the times match up.
Wait,
So I don't know.
which old man? Who are you talking about when you say old man?
I wish we could play that video. So in my reenactment video, there is a part right there on the map where I showed like this is kind of how the crime goes down on a map. After the murders, 2 girls walk to the bridge. He's still over there with the girls in that area where he killed them. Right behind those 2 girls, a few minutes later, there's an old man walking down the trail. Okay. He gets to the bridge, sees those other 2 girls on the bridge. They took a photograph. He walks back to the middle section of the trail, leaving. But on his way down there, he passed the guy, he said, on his way to the bridge before he saw those 2 girls. Said he just passed the guy on the trail wearing a blue coat and blue jeans.
So wait, but is that McCain you're talking about? Or who?
Yeah, McCain.
Oh,
McCain said
okay,
that.
yeah, okay, that's what I was
me and
wondering if
Michael
that was McCain. Okay, I remember I went down the McCain rabbit hole at one point where people were like thinking maybe he was involved, and I kind of looked into him a little bit with his brother and stuff. But okay,
him
so
and
he said
yeah.
he saw him. Then
He
yeah,
said
why
he
isn't
said that he
that?
passed a guy in a blue coat walking back towards the thing. And I thought, well, the hell, dude, that dude's believable, you know? He's a prominent member of the community. He's like a multi-millionaire. He's very, very prominent in our place, you know? I trusted him. He said that he passed a guy in a blue coat, but he didn't really say anything of it. He's like, yeah, I passed, a guy in a blue coat as I was walking down there. I was see anything out of the ordinary with him? No. That's it. And that's all he said. And then he just kind of talks. He just kind of rambles on and on and on about things. But yeah, I didn't know much about the case at the time. And so, like, the reason the flannel shirt guy, that guy even came out in the first place is because that was the week after the murders. I had him on that video, like secretly recording him talking to me. And I put it out there to everybody. And I said, hey, man, this guy said he was at the trail there that day. And then Libby's dad, Derek, said, yes, he was there that day. And I talked to him. And he actually, when he asked him if he'd seen those 2 girls, he said, no, but there's a couple on the bridge.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of how it turned in. And then it turned into a couple, meaning a man and a woman, but he meant a couple girls on the bridge.
That's what I always heard. I thought it was a couple, a man and a woman. Okay.
Derek asked him as he was walking back to the center section of the trail, hey, man, have you seen 2 girls out here? And described them, like these young girls. They said, he said, no, but there are a couple on the bridge. And people took that for a couple of, like a guy and a girl. And then there was rumors that there was a guy and a girl arguing there, and there was a guy and a girl having sex there, and all sorts of different stuff came out about this. And I'm like, you guys really think all that was going on? How come nobody mentioned this? The 2 other girls said they didn't see a couple there under the bridge. So
yeah, I heard they were arguing. I heard that one. That's all over Reddit. I remember reading on Reddit, like they were arguing over, I don't know what they're arguing about, but it was a couple that was arguing. Yeah. Wow. So that's not even. So nobody was arguing. You don't think?
No, I can't find a reason
to
put that. I can't find a reason to put anybody in those places out there during the timeline.
Oh man. Yeah, I hope the defense calls those witnesses and we'll see what they say at the trial, Hopefully you'll be able to go to the trial. I hope they let you like film.
I'll be at the trial one way or the other. Hopefully I can film in there. Which they should, man, because I got an attorney that's actually working on it. So they're gonna do it.
What kind of camera are you gonna film with? Do you have like a
I got my camera.
I don't even know
I got a
about cameras, but
this camera. So I know I've got a few different cameras that I'm gonna film with. Let me grab this thing here. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm gonna be doing. So I've got a few different things here that will work perfectly for streaming. Okay, so check this out. So these are from my fans, actually. So my YouTube fans, I have a fan-funded donation channel, and my YouTube fans help fund all my equipment so I can create cool videos like this. This here is an audio recorder. Okay, now what this does is I can use this as a microphone like this. Just put on a little, little fuzzy thing on top of it.
Yeah, okay.
And I can record people like this. I can also set it like this to record everybody in the room. Okay, and it will record almost everything. You can even hear people's conversations across the room if they're talking normally. So I can set this. I'm going to use this to set closer to the court so you can hear everybody. I've got wireless ones so you can hear other people talking. So I can set it closer to the, you can set these things up close to the, you can connect it to a link where it picks up everybody on the microphone that's in the court system. and I've got a Canon Rebel T6i camera that I'm going to be shooting with multiple lenses, and probably some other smaller cameras and stuff that I'll set randomly throughout the courtroom so I can get other shots of things.
So wait, so they'll let you have like multiple stuff, right? So they'll let you set.
Yeah, the things I'm going to have is all going to be real small. No one will
Okay.
even, and I'll probably have a couple people in there helping me. Like, hey man, while you're sitting there, just sit this right there. Sit that right there.
And then in case of something where you need to, yeah, okay, cool. When is the trial? Did they set a date, right? Or why is it like
for January 8th, 2024 right now? But I don't see it going that. It's going to be pushed back.
That's soon. Yeah, after all this coming out, that's like actually coming up. That's really soon.
I'm getting scared. I'm scared. Like I am. I'm scared. I'm like, dude, listen. Okay, so I've talked about this every day for almost 7 years. Not one day has passed. That's not a joke either. That's not an exaggeration. Literally every day. And I talk to it sometimes for hours and hours and hours. The last few live streams I've done, I kid you not, I've been on there for like 4 hours. And I've never done that. And because I have so much to talk about with this, I'm so into it. It's inevitable that I'm going to have to go to this trial. I'm going to have to see this. And I said a long time ago, man, I wish that I knew who the killer was. I just need to know who he was and how the crime happened and the motive. And that's it. That'll clear my mind. I'll be comfortable. Now I'm scared to know because it makes me look at my community so much different. Like, it's just, I don't know. Evil lives where I live, and that scares me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. Like you invested so much time, just so much of yourself that I could see why you're just like, it's like probably anxious, nervous, scared, just like, whoa, just to hear like
scared what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you found not guilty, what's gonna happen if you found not guilty? Oh man, people are gonna be in an uproar, dude. I'm afraid what's gonna happen, dude. I can see this happen one time in Delphi. People, long time ago in the 1800s, dude, there was a guy that killed a girl and he was going to get off because of a technicality and error that the court had made. This girl's dad and 150 men on horses rode to Delphi and broke into the jail, held the sheriff hostage, and took the prisoner from the jail to the road just right outside of town in between Delphi and Flora and hung him in front of the whole community. And no one got in trouble. And it's a weird scenario. If anybody wants to read the book, it's called Lynched by Michael Green. It's on Amazon. It's called Lynched, and there's a second part, The Murder of Amber Green. That's a true story. They broke in and broke him out because the law enforcement couldn't do their jobs and serve justice, so they killed him themselves.
Wow.
That could happen again.
No, I mean well, yeah, I mean it could. I mean, I think prisons are probably more secure, but still.
Well, the jail is. That's why they have him in Westville Correctional Facility, and that's why there's so many police standing at that place, because they don't even have security like at Delphi's courthouse. You just walk in. You could walk in there with guns and bombs and all sorts of stuff, and no one would ever know. Yeah, you could literally walk right into court in any office you want with nothing, just because they only do that for his hearings. For his hearings, they're not. That's why. Because they're nervous.
Well, okay, so let's say the trial happens and let's say he's found not guilty. Do you think they will actually go out and look for somebody else, or they're going to probably be so set on nope, it was him.
Positive. They got it. That's it, because they got it wrong, dude. And here's the thing: there's another case that I talk about with my friend Marv, True Crime with Marv. There was a girl in Tipton, Indiana, Tabitha Shuck Rains, that was murdered. She was 16. They eventually got statements from people. They arrested 3 people, and the defense threw out an alibi that it couldn't have been that person that killed her because that person was buying weed at a strip club in Kokomo, okay, another town. So the defense said that the jury bought it. These people are found not guilty. One person actually pled guilty to battery causing death, but he was going to testify against the other ones. Okay. Well, he never had to because her case was dismissed. So then he kind of got out, and the other guy appealed his because she was not convicted, and he got away. So the real murderer was never convicted, and the cops are like, well, the real murderer was found not guilty, so sorry about your luck. It just never happens again.
That's, man, that would be so sad for the families too, not to have justice, because I'm thinking with all this new stuff, there's a lot of reasonable doubt, and I don't think a jury. Oh, I don't know if a jury would be able to come to that conclusion as guilty with some of this stuff,
Yeah,
unless if it's when it comes down to the trial, they really don't have the stuff to back it up. I guess so. We'll see. Um,
that's true. Someone asked me earlier about the bar. So in the photographs where you see Richard Allen and he's got the sketch behind him and the videos that you see in the bar, yes, that is my great uncle's bar or former bar. He sold it. It's now a Mexican restaurant. Yes, his name is
what?
Herb Johnson, Big Herb. That is my uncle, my great uncle. I asked him, I don't see him too often, but I did ask him if you think if you heard anything, what you know, and he doesn't really know. He's the owner of the bar. He sees people all the time. He's an old man. Okay. Um, he's in his 80s. So he's not really one to go out and being the type to socialize with like Rick, Allen, and all these other people. He hangs out at the bar. He does what he does. He works there, but he's not in there all the time. Okay. Um, so he didn't really know anything. I mean, he never said that Ricky said anything about the murders. He never said he suspected him. He just said, I can't believe it was someone that came to my establishment, like that's all he said. So I don't have any inside information on what happened over there at that bar because I don't even go to the bar. I don't even drink. So
Hmm,
I
okay.
wish I knew. I wish he'd give me more.
Wow. So Matt has a question for you. Do you see that?
Sure. What's up, Matt? Do you think there's for sure law enforcement corruption that can be proven from what the defense is saying? I think that we can show a history that's been proven over the past several years of law enforcement. Um, there is several things that have happened over the years, and I've got videos on my channel and on my TikTok that can prove it. So if you go to TikTok and you search for True Crime Investigates and you look up the Flora fires, just take a look at those two little video clips on my TikTok. That shows corruption from the law enforcement officials when I dug into the Flora case and they arrested me for getting a little too deep. I showed that with the Randalls. Okay. And I also want to show you that they've been caught stealing money and starving inmates. I had a whole documentary where I went over a list of everything that these people in the community had done, and they've all been caught scamming, stealing, lying about cases, and setting people up. It's
Yeah.
proven that they've done it. So what stops them from doing it again?
Yeah. I mean, hey, DC Prime, it's true. Do you think, oh, here we go. I was going to ask you the same thing. Do you think Flora and Delphi are related? People
I've
use
always
those
said
two
no.
together. Okay.
No, I said nope. They're not related. And here's what's crazy, everybody's. We need to dig into my Flora video sometime too, because it kind of you will see a connection, I guess. Now, I always said that the Flora angle was racially motivated by members of a racist organization. Okay, that members of law enforcement are involved in. Okay, I always said that law enforcement lied to cover up the Flora event. They said it was on accident. It turns out it was on purpose. When they were confronted with that, the former sheriff of Carroll County was the fire marshal. He quit his job. He was caught lying about the fire. Okay.
Yeah.
So the fire was set on purpose. Now, why would they lie about that? He's part of a religious organization. When I caught up to him, he said, the N word don't last long here. Okay. Said that to me, and that's what caused the whole controversy. So he called them little black girls in Flora, the N word. He said, N word, they don't last long here, Greeno. And I caught him on recording. They put me in
Ooh.
jail, tried to delete it, tried to cover it up. I ended up getting out. All this stuff happened. There was a big press conference where corruption was announced by the NAACP. Doug Carter denied it. Oh, it's a whole big slew of things. But now it's starting to look like if there is an Odinism angle and there is a white supremacy angle to the Delphi murders, then why wouldn't that same white supremacy angle be linked to the Flora fires where they killed girls out of racism? Because that's what the whole thing was all about.
Yeah.
It
See, I
could
didn't
be connected.
realize that. Wow, I didn't. Wait, so you aired that video, like you recorded him and then you put it on your channel and
I
then you
didn't
got
put it on my
arrested?
YouTube. I didn't put it on my YouTube because I knew that you couldn't put that on YouTube. I tried to put it on Facebook, and they immediately blocked me for 30 days for putting up racially uh,
Oh,
prohibited
okay.
content. So I sent it to media outlets, news agencies, and said, "Dude, check this out. I want to have a press conference and I want to announce corruption in the fire case." And they set a press conference, and then that night I asked the prosecutor for comment. He said, no, once he seen I was holding a press conference, he invited me in for an interview, and they arrested me, took my phone, and factory reset it. But the news already had the video and already talked about it at that
Wait,
point.
why? But what was your charge? I don't understand.
Contempt of court. It's
What?
yeah, contempt of court. So it's crazy. They put me in contempt of court. I wasn't even in court. It was standing in the hallway. I got a video of it. I just stuck a microphone in the cop that got caught lying's brother's face and said, hey, man, you want to talk about your brother, Dennis, or his son, Adam, who was lying? Nope, I'm not going to talk about that. Take that up with the sheriff. Then he came back out when I put my camera up, arrested me. Waited for me to put it up. He came, turned around and says, turn around, put your hands behind your back. I said, for what? He said, you're under arrest. I said, for what? He said, contempt of court. I said, I'm not in court. You're in contempt of court. And I said, there's not even court in session, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even in trouble. I'm not on probation. I'm not on any kind of thing. He arrested me.
So
corruption, and then prosecutor quit his job. That other dude quit his job. They all quit their jobs right after that.
Dang, so it possibly could be connected if it is the Odinism stuff. Okay, but
it's crazy. Are you lost yet? Is anybody lost? I'm lost.
Actually following. I mean, I'm following what you're saying. I didn't. A lot of stuff that you've said. This is the first time I'm hearing about a lot of stuff.
So, dude, it starts to make sense. Let me throw this huge wrench in the whole ordeal. This is weird. This is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Okay, and I've been able to connect all this. So, this is weird, people. So, I have a child, okay, with Becky Patty's family. Who's Becky? Becky is the grandmother of Liberty German, one of the murder victims. Okay, I have a child with one of her relatives. Okay, now that child, my ex, her dad murdered his grandparents in 1993 in Carroll County. Okay, right there. And he was put in jail for it. This is a double homicide now. Think about this, double homicide. He gets put in jail. He ends up, they said, hanging himself in jail and dying. But the coroner's report said that he was strangled to death and then placed in the hanging position after death. And there was only one person that had access to his cell. He was in a cell by himself. And that person was the jailer at the time. Okay, so the person who worked at the jail as the officer had access to this cell. That person who was the officer was also involved in a love triangle with the defendant who was in jail and another woman. That person was a person of interest and nothing ever came about it. That person is Sheriff Tobe Leazenby, who is a suspect in that case.
What?
So, dude.
Oh my God.
So 2 double homicides, only 2 ever in Carroll County history, involving the same family with the same person who's came up with the suspect twice. Now are we confused?
Wait. Let me make sure I heard that right. You're saying Leazenby is the guy that had access to this guy that...
He was the jailer at the time. He was just a regular jail officer.
But he was the only one that had access to this guy that was... What?
Yeah, and you see what I'm saying, dude? It's all like a big pat. You're good.
Oh my Lord, dude, because I remember, like, he gets a lot of crap. Like, a lot of people think he was bridge guy, and he... whoa, dude.
Yes, so I'm saying that that there is reason to believe that they believed that he was killed and put in that position afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can find some old news articles on the murder. It happened in Delphi, or maybe it's called Pittsburgh. Delphi and Pittsburgh is the same town. It's just called a different part. If you look up the murder of Fred and Audrey Marchand, it's Marchand. Everybody, there's an old news clip you may find somewhere in a Carroll County comment, something. You guys will find it. But it just adds a whole new complexity to this case that's a double homicide involving the same family 20 years apart.
Yeah.
Come on now. How often does that happen? And the same person, the sheriff, comes up as a suspect in both times. And now there's all this potential corruption with law enforcement that I've been screaming for 5 years and put in jail over. You know, I know people think I've been to jail a bunch of times. You know what I mean? Like, I'm no saint here. Okay, I've had my problems, and sometimes I get out there and say some stupid stuff. But the times that I'm going to jail for, for these recent things that I've went for, man, is not because I'm out there causing problems. It's because of what I'm doing here. I'm digging into these people, and they are trying to shut me up and make me seem like, oh, he's just a felon. He's a piece of shit. Don't believe him. Well, it turns out that the things that I'm saying are truthful, and that even attorneys and bigwigs are now starting to realize it and make fun, or make a horrible situation into a better situation for me by telling the truth finally.
Yeah, I mean, wow. What did you say the name was real quick though? Fred
Fred
Martini?
and Audrey.
Audrey. Okay. Dude, yeah, I didn't. Wow, Tobe Leazenby. Oh my lord. So, wow, I don't even know what to think about that. So, but was it written out in the end? Was it? They just said he did it himself, right? That they
Yeah,
never
he
said he.
killed himself, and that was the end of the story.
Okay.
Suspect's dead. Sorry, everybody. I mean, kind of like if he was found not guilty. Oh, he's gone. Sorry, everybody. No luck now.
So, are you
It's
afraid to
sad,
go
man.
back
I
to
don't know. You know,
Delphi?
this case is so.
Like,
I'm afraid to
are
go to
you?
jail in Delphi. You know, and I told everybody. I said, dude. I said it gets to the point where I start talking about some of the things I do that they'll all of a sudden just issue some kind of crazy warrant or violate probation that I was on and stuff like that at the time. I'm not on probation or anything like that. So, like, look, if Carroll County miraculously files some kind of warrant on me for some crazy shit anytime in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks that I've been talking about this, everybody would know. Everybody would be like, you know what, dude, that's corruption. And I would expect everybody in the world to stand up behind me because I called it way before it happened and said, no, we ain't gonna do that. They're gonna silence me. Them dudes want to get me there. And all of a sudden I hung myself in jail. You know what I mean? That's what I'm
Yeah,
scared about.
yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. The way how corrupt it is, like they could do something like that, and you're known like they know about you,
If I
so
walk in there, they're like, oh my God, dude, no.
yeah, because you know too much information, man. Wow. Um, Bab says I've got a bloody headache, too much to take in. I know.
It's confusing, guys. I know it's so
Yeah,
confusing. This case, and it stretches up to so much, and it takes people to really know the situations and the different people to understand it in full. Otherwise, you don't see what's happened in the past. You don't see what things have been said that way because you don't really know who to look into.
yeah,
Especially if you're not from the area or what to look up. You don't know these people connect to these people and what's being said around town and stuff. You know,
yeah. Do you know who? I started this because it says, "I heard the
yep.
person under the bridge was Daniel Pearson." Do you know who's is that true?
This is a weird, crazy scenario here. This goes into more crazy stuff. So in 2018, I got a phone call on a live stream from a guy named Daniel Pearson, who lived near the bridge at the time. Okay, he told me that he wanted to turn himself in and wanted me to do it. And I was like, okay, here we go. Here, I used to be a bounty hunter. He says, I want to turn myself into you because I have a warrant. And I said, for what? And he said, the Delphi murders. Okay. How about you give me a call? I recorded it all, put it on a video. He said that he was involved. His DNA would be found on the girls, that he killed his other girlfriend, burned her up in a fire, and that he's just ready to turn himself in. So he described all this in detail. I called the police and I told them that night, hey, man, I got a guy that says he wants to come turn himself in tomorrow at noon. He wants to meet me at the courthouse, but I want you guys to be there because he's saying that he's part of the murders. And they said, oh, man, just, all right, well, just call the tip line, dude. And I'm like, listen, dude, the murderer, someone who just said they're the murderer called me and says they're right here. I'll tell you right where he's at. Nah, just go ahead and send an email, man. It'll be all right. So I'm like, geez, they didn't even take my tips seriously. Well, the next day I told that dude, I said, I'm gonna go meet him, man. Right before I left, the sheriff called me and said, hey, I got your tip. The FBI and the state police are with that individual right now, following up on your lead. But I wanted to let you know that what we've concluded is that individual is not mentally stable, does have a history of psychiatric problems, and is under the influence of narcotics. So we don't believe his
Mm.
statements to be credible. I said, okay. He says, but you're welcome to conduct an interview for your media thing if that's what you want to do. I decided not to do it. Well, years later, someone comes out and says that they are a guy named Daniel Pearson. It's not the same dude. Okay. Just ironically, two Daniel Pearsons live right within a couple of blocks of each other, and said that he's a witness and all this stuff. Well, there was a guy on YouTube named Skip Jansen and some other guy called Face Man that were going around. And this Face Man, I messaged this Daniel Pearson Facebook account and was asking him, hey man, tell me about Delphi. I want to interview. And he's like, I'm not allowed to tell anybody because my attorney's blah, blah, blah. And he made it look like he was the suspect. Okay. I said, are you the murderer? He says, I'm not supposed to tell, but I'm going to jail for a long time and stuff. Right. Come to find out that Daniel Pearson fake profile was this Face Man guy pretending to be this guy, acting like he was guilty. And I called him out on a live stream about it. And I said, that's misleading people and making people feel like they're talking to the real dude. And you're making people feel like this guy's guilty. You're ruining someone's life with a picture. You're basically catfishing people with someone else's picture and screwing their life up. There is no Daniel Pearson that was seen at the trails that day that was in that area at that moment. If there's a Daniel Pearson that's mentioned in documents, I have yet to see anything where Daniel Pearson is a witness, unless someone can show me that in these new documents. I didn't see anything. Did you?
No, I didn't. I never even heard of that. I didn't. So this is the first time hearing of a Daniel Pearson, though. So I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't
think
see anything.
This is one of those things where you don't know what's going on. You don't know what to believe because there's so many things out there. Who knows? It could be, but I'm saying based on what I know, I've never seen this guy. He's never met with me. I've tried to reach out, can't get in contact, never spoken at all,
Yeah.
And I went in person to places to try to find him.
Wait, say that again. Sorry, I was looking at the document to see if no, there's no Daniel Pearson. What did you just say?
I went in person to try to find him at places, that people said he was at and lived and stuff. I tried to find it. And I never could so far.
Wow. There's another question that someone going to ask you. Where is it at? Hold on. I started right here. It says, please ask Reno if he knows who B. Woodhouse is, who's claiming to have proof he's going to release. And if so, is this credible?
This is what I'm talking about, everybody. I don't know. Is it credible? I will tell you about Brandon Woodhouse. I covered him. I actually brought his story to light a few years ago when I was talking about the Flora case, because that same cop who arrested me, John Randall, for the contempt, arrested him and put him in jail. And they planted syringes and drugs on him, took photos of him, and went to the judge and did some secret stuff. And they had him locked up. He called corruption and that he was set up. I believe him. I believe him. I do. Here's my issue. Brandon struggles with a very serious addiction. And he's in and out of jails and rehabs on a regular. Now, I reached out to him for comment because I want to get his story out there. And I think that I can help him explain it better and show more proof behind what he's saying instead of just making a claim. I would like to help him. And if you're watching, Brandon, I'd like to help you. I think that your addiction prevents people from seeing you as a 100% credible individual. And I think that if you could curb that, I know you just got out of rehab, if you could curb that, it would help your situation into providing more insight into the case. Your story would be more credible, and this is a good thing that you're doing, dude. I believe it. If you do have information, reach out to me. I can help you put it forward and reach a broader audience. I hope. So I don't know, but I hope that it's credible.
I mean, but how would he? I wonder how. What it is.
I mean, I don't know. I would like to hear what he has to say prior to him saying it to the public, so I could be like, well, this is what I know too, man. I can help.
Does he have a channel or something? Where are people hearing that he has?
He does have a channel. He does have a channel. I think it's under Brandon Woodhouse.
Okay.
You find it. If you type in Brandon Woodhouse Delphi on YouTube, you would be able to find it. And he just sits there and just talks about the corruption that he was involved in. And he's kind of, there it is. Yeah, type in Brandon Woodhouse. It's the top one that comes up. Brandon Woodhouse controversial video. Right there. Can't miss it. So check it out.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and let me know what you guys think of it in the chats as well, because I am kind of curious as to what people think regarding his statements after you listen to them.
Yeah. Huh. Releasing. Oh, so it's releasing sealed evidence. Okay. Yeah, that's 23. So I'm not going to probably play it right here. I want to get familiar with what he's saying. Oh, wait. Is that a picture with Logan? Is that who that is? Why does that look like him? No, it's probably not. That looks like him for some reason. Tell me about Ron Logan here. What about like
Oh
all this stuff
man.
came out where those documents where it looked like they were trying to say it was him? Like, where did that go? Like, is there,
Okay,
like,
so here's what happened. So at the beginning of the case, Ron Logan he's the property owner that owns the property where the girls were found. Okay, of course they're going to look into him. So Ron Logan was on probation at the time for drinking and driving. He wasn't allowed to drive, and he certainly wasn't supposed to be drinking. Ron, being an alcoholic, drank and drove his truck to the trash transfer station to the dump that day and drove to a town called Americus, which is not far, to have beer and eat pizza. That day that the murders happened, he called his cousin and said, "Dude, I need you to lie about where I was." And his cousin
yeah,
said, "Why?" He said, "I need you to say I was in Lafayette buying tropical fish with you." So he did, okay, and then they called in the next day and says, "Hey, man, he lied, told me to do this." Logan lied because he was on probation. He was doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing while on probation. He didn't want to get caught. So he lied. So then they issued a search warrant for his house because based on those lies and the fact that they said his phone pinged in the area of the crime scene,
yeah.
which is not uncommon considering the area. Right across the street is the cell phone tower. The other one's a few miles away. And so every time they ping, a certain location comes up, but it's a general area of where it is. And since he lived there, it made sense. They issued this search warrant and they had these documents for years. Now, we never heard about these documents until the murder sheet came out and put them out there years later, which made everybody feel like Ron Logan was the suspect now. But in fact, those documents were way old, and that's what they said in their application to get a search warrant. So that's an application for a search warrant, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what they're saying that Liggett lied on in his application for a new search warrant for Richard Allen's. That's what an application should look like. And those are the types of things that they say in them. We believe that this person committed the crime of murder, because if they don't say that, then the judge is going to say, well, if you don't think they did anything, then there's no probable cause to go into their house and search it. They have to say that. It's a formality. We have to believe that he caused the murder. But no, Logan was cleared pretty early on in the investigation. I actually went to his house,
So
talked
you
to
don't,
him.
okay. It's just weird on his property, that, so, and he doesn't look that much. I mean, he kind of looks similar to BG, but I know, yeah, he was cleared. So, but I
And
mean,
he
I
died.
guess, yeah, he died. Yeah. But it's still like, I feel like in this freaking case being cleared isn't nothing to, like, it doesn't convince me of anything with the investigation. Like hearing somebody's cleared, it's like, wait, I don't know if I trust you guys.
Yeah.
But let's see, they committed perjury and fraud. If they say it and don't believe it, they've committed perjury and fraud on the court and should be charged.
Exactly. They should be. Or if they sign a sworn affidavit swearing under oath that something's
Yeah.
true and it's a lie, they need to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They need to go to jail. No one's above the law. Just okay. How can you make a sworn affidavit, swear under oath if something is true and it turned out to be a lie? And you can't just backtrack that and be like, "Oh, I may have misunderstood how I was writing that." No way. Because if I lie to a cop about an investigation and then come to find out he finds out I'm lying, and I say, "Well, you know what, man? Let me think about that. Actually, you know what? I just messed up on how I wanted to word that. So let me go ahead and rephrase that for you real quick, and then we'll go from there." And they're like, "Sorry, dude, you lied." Like it doesn't work that way. You don't get to fix it. They
Yeah.
amend it.
Yeah. What
I
about
would
go ahead. What
what?
say? I
No,
was
no,
gonna
I
say
was just gonna
Libby's
say I wouldn't
dad.
want to get arrested.
Go.
I wouldn't want to
I'm
get arrested
sorry.
in that time. Said Piper. Go ahead. Libby's dad. What about him?
No, I want to hear yours first. I'll remember Libby's dad. We'll talk about that later. But what were you gonna say?
Nothing. I was just reading Piper's comment. I wouldn't want to get arrested in that town. And if I think that Richard Allen's
Please,
DNA from the
because
car
I'd
will
be.
link into the murders, I think that there is. Yes. I don't think they've given it to him yet, but I think there's DNA from the crime scene in the vehicle.
You do?
Yeah, because they took out certain things. They took out pieces of seat belts that they had tested for things. They took out a piece of carpet underneath where the spare tire goes. They took swabs from different portions of the car for some reason, and one of them has lab results on it, check marked in one of the documents. So I think that they do have something that links him somehow to the car, especially if he was all muddy and bloody. I mean, I don't see how he didn't get any DNA from them into his
Yeah.
car. Guaranteed
But
100% he did.
but years later, would it? I mean, if he cleaned it a bunch of times, you think it possibility he got rid of it or no?
I don't know how
So,
any of that works. I mean, think about it. I don't think he would think about the seatbelt. like just being touched or like getting out of the car and your shoulder brushes on it or something.
Yeah.
There's just those stupid things that you don't consider. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe the bottom of his pant leg at the very bottom where it meets your shoe, where it kind of maybe sometimes hits the ground, has blood on it. And when he sat in his car, that part touched the ground and there's something, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy stuff where they're able to take like an individual walk through a creek they did, and that creek had certain bacteria in it that you only get from going into that creek. Okay. So they were able to take a person's uh, like their carpet that they had at their house and say, look, the same bacteria is in their house. That means they walked through that creek that has the same bacteria. You know what I mean? And that might be a
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
time later,
That's true.
so they
But
can
imagine
find
if
it.
that tip, if they would have got it right away, they would have for sure had it. So, yeah, that'll be huge if they do have. I mean, if there's DNA or they found something in his car, I mean, there you go. Then I mean, that would convince a jury pretty good because there would be no reason for him to have their DNA in his car at all. Um,
Exactly.
so I didn't realize that they did that for some reason that they took like those. So yeah, that's a good thing. So maybe they do have a pretty good case against him. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Uh, do you think that there's any way that okay, so let's go back to the Odinism thing. If there's anything to that, what why would they kill two white girls? Because people were asking that. I know they said, maybe Libby's mother was, dating outside
Here's
of her
why.
race or something. But
I read an article that was posted online, okay, and it was posted in May 2017. I actually just found it looking up this thing. You know what? Let me send it to you real quick because
okay,
it's an article that talks about Odinism. It's just like a written article here. Um,
okay.
it talks about white supremacists killing in the name of their Nordic religion god. Okay, and this was posted May 25th, 2017. So shortly after the murders. Okay,
Whoa, yeah.
talking about these kind of things happen. So there you go. I posted it in the private chat there
Oh,
for you.
okay.
But it goes over this and it says that like these people wanted to start a race war. They wanted to kill people of different religions. This one guy started to kill people. Okay, and he thought he was killing Jews, and turns out that they weren't Jews, and he thought they were. Okay,
Whoa.
so
Okay.
yeah. So these people were doing this, but they're not necessarily knowing what they are doing because they're saying that they're doing it to eliminate everyone who's nothing but clear one race. That's it. But nobody is. Okay. And because you go way back to your ancestry, you'll find that you have a lot of different things in you. So these people are, certain people think that they're doing something for a reason, but I don't think that all these organizations operate like this. I think these people are just giving a bad name to what's going on here. You know?
But do you know if is that true? Because the defense mentioned, is that true that Libby's mom did date outside her race? Which is
I don't know.
fine. I mean, I mean,
No,
so common, but no.
I do not know. I do
Okay.
not know. I cannot say. I would
Okay.
never be able to answer that question at all.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. But I mean,
Okay. I
who
just wondering.
knows? I mean, but why would they do that to them? I mean, and how that would mean a long time of like really thinking that out and picking the two select people
Yeah.
and just happen them to be at the same place at the same time from two different families. I don't see that. You know what I mean? I think that's too much stretching it.
So then it is hard to find, like, a motive for why they pick those girls, unless if it was just they wanted somebody to sacrifice so that they happen to know, oh, they knew that Abby was gonna be there because of his son, and if that's, trying to figure out why they would even have done it, but yeah, it could just be no reason, really
Now,
no good
or
reason. What's
is
that?
Keegan Klein associated with Odinism?
Ooh.
I guess that's a
Huh.
question. Because that could say a link to he catfished him, he got him there, and maybe that's their ploy. Maybe that's how they catch people is you catfish them with some sexy either male or female fake profiles. Come on over, you get them there.
Ah.
Someone else does the work. You're not linked. It's not you. You know what I mean? Like it could be that.
Huh.
You never know.
Yeah.
Almost
Wait,
anything's possible now. I'm like to the point where I mean, it could have been Elvis, like literally Elvis with Elvis Presley. That
oh,
committed these crimes.
yeah. I'm trying to see if anybody else
Yes, and
um,
clothing. Okay, so Clothes were found in Deer Creek belonging to the victims. I don't know if the victim 1 and victim 2, how did one end up with both sets of clothes on? One was found nude, Libby was found nude, and the other one was found with Libby's clothes on. There was
Yeah.
underwear and a sock taken as a trophy by the killer.
Wait, what? What was taken?
An underwear and sock from the girls, from one of the girls or both, or one or the other.
I wonder which one. So just one sock?
I guess they said an underwear and a sock, items of clothes. Yeah, they were taken from the killer as a trophy, they thought. So where's that stuff?
Yeah. Did they find that at, I don't think they
Don't
found
know.
it at Richards,
I
but
don't think they've said that. I don't know. I don't know, but something's got to be, unless they burn it up or anything like that. Who knows, dude? I mean,
Did you know
I'm so
Logan? The son, did you say? Did you ever?
No,
No.
they're too young. They're way too young for me. So I'm 37, and like these guys are like
Oh,
a kid. You know what I mean? They're kids.
yeah.
So I was having
Okay.
boyfriends. They're like real young. They're like my kids' age almost. You know?
Yeah. Oh, wait, how many kids do you have? You said your kids, plural? You have more than one? I think
I
you're
just hit a
froze.
button.
You're like froze. Drinking your drink. Look at froze on you drinking your it's a good picture. Oh, there
Wait,
you are. Okay.
I glitched up for a second. I was like, "What the hell happened here?" I
Yeah,
pushed the
you were
button. I was like, "Oh
froze and you
shit!"
were drinking. It was cool where it froze. It was funny.
I was like, "Shit!" I'm froze. I was like, "What happened here?" Okay, I'm back. Sometimes my computer does that.
No, it's okay. I freeze too. When you live stream, can't.
So what did you ask me a question? Because I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I did. Now I can't remember. What did I ask him, guys? I did just ask you a question. Hold on a second. What was it? Hold on. I don't know. And I just said it. I was saying you're here. What did I just ask him?
Something about you asked if I knew Logan or somebody like that. I know.
Well, yeah, and then
But
you
then after
said
that,
no, and then I did ask you something else, but I honestly don't even know.
who
Somebody
owned the
said who?
property deed in the bridge? Is that what you asked?
No, it's not, but I just saw that. What, who? Oh, well, that's what I asked you. I asked you how many kids you had because you said kids. I said, oh, I don't.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have? Okay,
12.
12.
No, 4.
Oh, I thought you were seriously. Wow,
Well,
that's a lot of kids.
12.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Do you ever bring them on your videos?
No, I did once. Yeah. Yeah.
What? How old
But
is your oldest kid?
17 and 16 are my 2 oldest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do they want to get into like YouTube or anything or?
My son's a Twitch streamer. Mhm.
Ooh, cool. Okay.
My daughter was
Oh,
a part of some of my videos going to Delphi and stuff like that, but I didn't want to. I don't know, man. With all the catfishing and the social media stuff, I got like real crazy about that. And was like, nope, no more of that stuff. You're not on Facebook. You're not on Snapchat. You're not on TikTok. Nope, none of that. It's gone. And like she hates me for it. So
no, I mean, I get it. I'd probably be a little overprotective if I had kids. So wait, you're the one, your son that you said your son is the Twitch streamer. Does that mean he
mhm.
plays video games or
He's a
what?
video game streamer.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Twitch is a
I use my
big.
Canon camera, everybody. My camera. That's what I used to film.
Would you recommend that of like if somebody were to be getting a new camera or looking for a
If you,
camera?
depends. If you are not familiar with cameras and you want something that you can take with you and film things like on the go, easy to use, it's not this one because this one you got, you know what I mean? It's not this one. There's a one called a Sony Handycam that I bought. It was like $229, and it fits in your hand like this. Okay, and it's got a little flip out screen. Push to record. It's got a little thing that zooms in, zooms out. And I'm not kidding. I could zoom in all the way across the room to a book and read it when it automatically focuses. That camera is perfect for YouTubers, especially if you're going to be going to crime scenes, anywhere where you can, like, you're going to have to walk around and you don't want to hold this big camera. You want something quick.
Okay.
You could hold that. Sony Handycam, very cheap. You guys can look it up on Amazon. I recommend those if you're a YouTuber and just wanting to get some content on the go. This is for more things like interviews, cinematic shots, movies, and stuff like that.
But does the Sony one have good like resolution? I
Very
mean, does
good.
it clear?
It's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
A lot of my videos were filmed with that. All my old videos were mostly filmed with that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. I wouldn't know. I have a video. I have like a camera that's kind of like that. I don't think it's a Sony one. I used it. My dad bought it for me to like film a wedding, and then I haven't used it since. But I don't think it's Sony though. Yeah, I don't think it was. I think well, you said how much was the Sony? You said it's cheaper,
It's
but
like
how much?
it's $228. I think yeah, here it is. $228 on what is it on Amazon?
Okay,
But
okay.
it's way worth it, I think, to buy it. It works.
Richie, are they making fun of my mouth? Dude, ever since I was younger, that's just what I do when I'm listening. I know my brothers and my dad always would make fun of me. Like they'd say, are you catching flies?" Because I have my mouth open. So I guess I've done that since I was younger. I didn't think I really did it as much anymore, but yeah, I think it's like when I'm really interested in like something I'm hearing, like I'm just unaware of what my face is doing and my mouth opens. But wait. Well, look, it says Anthony, tell Zav what Marvelous Marv is doing this weekend.
So I believe Marv, are you talking about the Tipton thing, Cheryl? Is that what you're talking about? Confirm first before I say it, because I want to make sure I'm right about that. Is that what you're talking about in Tipton? So if that's what she's talking about, so Marv she's the one that's covering the Tabitha Shuck Rains case, which is, I don't know how far that is from you, but it's in Tipton, Indiana, which is kind of east of Indianapolis, kind of northeast. But they're going there on this case where those people were found not guilty. You know what I mean? In her trial to recreate a scenario and try to like pick up someone up and move a body from one location to the next at dead weight. They're going to try to prove that this scenario that happened in the defense or the law enforcement's claims is bullshit, and try to prove what is and isn't possible. So basically everyone's saying Richard Allen did this, right? And you're saying you don't see one person being able to do all that. Now imagine if I went out there and tried to do that as a recreation
Yeah.
to show you this. Let me try to do it. Let me see if I can pick two girls up and move them across there in this amount of time and do all this stuff to them. She's going there to do that with a reenactment with the family members and stuff like that to try to help this case out. Kind of
Wait, what
interesting.
case are you talking about? This case?
Tabitha
Oh,
Shuck Rains, but Marv is connected to the Delphi case. That's how I met her.
okay.
She lives in Wisconsin, came down, met me at one of my Delphi walks, memorial walks, but she's doing a recreation, and it's really, really, really cool. It's a case that needs more attention, but it's a case that is just I know the families and stuff like that, and they become friends, you know?
So it's
So
a case that you think the person is actually innocent that's being charged? Is that what it
no, I think
is?
the person was found innocent who was charged, and there's no resolution to this. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
that's what the problem is with the judicial system. If the person who was guilty is charged and they can never be tried on that again, there needs to be something changed to where if new evidence arises, they could,
Oh, yeah. The
not
double
just
jeopardy
never.
thing, yeah. Um, wow. So, but I don't know though, because yeah, that's true though, because you go through it and then you do find, let's say you find like a smoking gun piece of evidence that, oh, yep, it's for sure that person, and you're not allowed to retry him. So that is kind of messed up. Wonder if that, I mean, it's kind of outdated type of law if you think about it, because now with DNA, I mean, you could find, well, I guess nowadays you could find it, probably you would find the DNA right away. But yeah, that's tricky. Wow. There's a case, what was that case where, hold on, it was an old case where the double jeopardy, the person, there was some like workaround where the person had the trial, got found not guilty, but somehow they were able to try him again. And I forget, I don't know the details of how they were able to do it, but there was some kind of like loophole. So it is a possibility. It was like an old, does anybody know what case I'm talking about? It's an old case from this, I don't know if it was the 70s, 80s, maybe. The man killed his wife and daughters. Well, I don't know if he killed his wife and daughters, but that's what he was charged with. And then he went to trial, got found not guilty, and then they were able to try him again. But I know normally the double jeopardy or you can't be tried, but there was some way that they were able to do it again. But I don't know. There's a scenario. I'd have to figure it out what case, because I can't remember what case. Let's see if
Yeah.
anybody
Oh,
knows.
hey, dude. So, dude, do you know Armchair Detective?
Yeah, I know. I saw people taught saying to him. Yeah, what about him?
I guess he's been deleted.
What do you mean deleted?
I guess just terminated from YouTube. I guess I don't know why. I
Why?
don't know.
Oh, that's what they're
I
talking
don't know.
about
My
in there. I
girlfriend
was
was telling me about it, and I was like, I never really got into look into it because I've been so stuck on this Delphi stuff. It's consumed me for days now. I don't know, man, but I was on his stream a couple years ago, and we had a great time talking about the Delphi case, and like, he was a pretty big person. I mean, he's got just as many as you. You know,
No, he
maybe
was like he was the Watts case was his big famous case.
yes,
I'm trying to look up
yes.
his channel to see. He had like he had like 3 or 4 channels. So they wonder what happened. I want to know. They're saying but wait, Mr. Rosebud, he's done that before where because you know you can make private your channels. I think he's one of them that's done that. I know there's a couple people that have done that for like a publicity thing where the people like all talk about him. Channel's gone, and then you come back, and then everybody comes. So are you sure? Are you guys
It's a
sure? Oh, it says community violations.
So
Okay,
Carly said community violations. So
let me see. Let me see,
and
because you know
that's the thing
some.
is, I guess they won't tell him what, like you, they won't tell you what you got to do.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know. You know, it's like,
Oh, is that what they're saying? He doesn't know. Okay. Yeah, I can't. Wait,
yeah,
wait, 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 wait. I found one of his channels. His armchair detail. Oh no, that's never mind. That's a make fun of one. It's blues. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I don't see
yeah,
him. Huh.
all of them.
So, wow, I'd like to know what happened. Or he might not even. You're saying he doesn't know, or so somebody's talked to him.
I guess I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him, but I just have been seeing this, and someone mentioned it in the chat, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not
I
sure what
thought
happened to him, man.
I was wondering what they were talking about. I saw AD in chat too. Um, I haven't heard or thought about him since when I was covering the Watts because I kind of moved on and he's the
Stuck.
one that the whole shadow and like he was big on that case. Like he had I don't know if he was still covering it up until recently, but
Well,
wow,
it's
that's
like,
scary, dude, to lose your channel. Go ahead. What were you?
oh, dude,
Go
I've done
ahead.
it. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
did it
you
with
did.
20,000 plus and millions of views, and just, I mean, it was to the point where it was very successful, you know, and it's all gone. Even all the content is just gone. And it's like, that's kind of screwed up too, you know, and YouTube and I are in a big fight legally over this because who's to tell you you can take my content and keep it and not ever let me have it back? You can keep it from broadcasting, but you can't not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to have? It's mine. I streamed that. I should have that. I should at least have the copy of the videos, you
But
know?
that's what they do. I mean, they even in the policy they say that usually they give you like they said they're supposed to give you what 3 days or
You
something
know,
so
a
you have
copy of the
time to
video.
they didn't do that? Wait, what did you say?
I was in jail. I was in jail with it.
Oh,
You know
so
what I mean?
you
So
oh, you wouldn't have been able to. But supposedly in the policy, if you read through it, they're supposed to give you I think it's 3 days. So you have time if you want to grab the videos or whatever. And then they just yeah, then it's done. But if you were in jail, yeah,
yeah,
you wouldn't have been able to get it. So, man, it sucks. Um,
yep,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's
Someone, and that's the thing as I'm going through with them is someone else uploaded something.
uh,
Yeah, someone uploaded something to my account, which got my account terminated while I was in jail. I clearly didn't do it, and they're not. We're just fighting with them. But anyway, we're good.
Richie, I have a question. You said it froze your subscription. Are you sure? Oh no, yeah, his channel's not up. Never mind. Because when I lost my demonetization, it froze everybody's subscription. So I was like, "Are you sure you didn't just get demonetized?" And maybe it's what I went through, but no, because his channel's not up. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I might reach out to him. I think I saw his email because that sucks, dude. You work so hard, and he's been doing this for years. Like you work so hard on your channel, and then it's just all gone. Like it's just that's a hard thing. And I'm glad you were allowed to be back, but
It's
if
sad,
he
but
like, he might not like, sometimes you're not allowed to have a channel, like, if they terminate you and it didn't happen like what happened with you where you're allowed to be back and monetized, right? Like, he will never be able to probably come back and be monetized under his name. So, it's just
it
you could
ruins
see
people's lives.
it does, because that's what they've worked, like, their whole life and stuff, and to not get an explanation or understand what happened, it sucks, man. Oh, I do. I
It
feel bad
does.
for anybody that happens to. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were talking about that. I think wasn't it with you, Anthony, about Molly Golightly? I think
Yep.
when
Yeah,
I
we were
came
talking
on
about.
your channel. Yeah, she's gone. Wait, are you sure? Did we look it up? Her channel is actually gone, right?
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. The only
But
channel you can find is other people talking about her.
but did she take it down herself or did YouTube terminate her? That's what I don't know about her.
Who knows? Who
Oh,
knows?
thanks, Annabelle. Well, is there anything else you want? I don't want to. I feel bad. I want to keep you.
No, we're good. Look, we've been on for 2 hours talking. I can go for 10 more. So yeah, we're good. I should get off here. So I should go back to editing some videos and stuff like that I can do. Jonathan just hit you with a super chat.
Oh, thanks, Jonathan. Just jumping in. Should you have someone else? Wait. You should have someone else rip your channel to save it. Oh, rip like the okay, yeah. Now I actually I didn't have the first couple years, but now I download all of them and put them on a jump drive. But like my first couple years, I don't have those downloaded. I probably should, but okay, Jonathan, thank you. Wait, I have a question, Anthony. If you got super chats, would it show up on mine so I could have put them up on the thing? Was I able? So I hope I didn't
If
miss
someone
any.
makes a super chat on my channel, it would go to me, but you would be notified of it too.
Oh,
So
so
I
I'd be able
don't
to
have
put
any
it
super
up on
chats that come in
screen.
on my channel. So
Okay, I was like, I want to put it up on screen or
Yep.
somebody. Okay. Oh, thanks, Richard, for joining. I think that's. Wait, is that you or me? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
We don't know because it's.
Richard just joined. It doesn't tell us, everybody, what's going
I
on here.
know
So
it doesn't say which one, but thank you for joining one of ours. I'm trying to go to my YouTube side to see.
yeah, I know I'm on mine too. Oh yeah, so I have a poll. So I have a poll set up on mine. Hold on the video today that I asked my fans to participate in at the beginning. I forgot about that. Before we always do this, I need to close down the poll and tell everybody the results of that poll. So wow, we got 223 watching and 150 on mine. So that means you got the rest. All right, so here it is.
Go for it. Yeah,
the poll results are copy and paste. All right, so here we go. So the poll results are for this question: who can we trust from these mixed signals? The first answer was they're all lying. Or defense team, law enforcement, Greeno for sheriff, or they're all lying. And out of 144 votes, everybody said 33% just said Greeno for sheriff, 29% says we can trust law enforcement, and 25% said we trust the defense team.
So I put green over sheriff too. So more people put you because they don't trust either of the other ones. You're the most.
Someone screenshot that and send it to the sheriff department.
Yeah. But then more people wait, so you're the first, and then what was the second highest? The sheriffs?
Right there. Law enforcement. They said believe law enforcement. 29% said believe law enforcement.
Okay, that's interesting. Yep. Good poll. All right. Well.
And then Breadcrumbs just gifted 5 memberships on my channel. So thank you.
Nice. Cool, Breadcrumbs. Congratulations
awesome.
to whoever got the memberships.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it is. Piper, Hurt Locker, My Wrench, and Brutally Honest, and Kelt. There you go. Okay. Thank them. Thank Breadcrumbs. Goodbye. All right.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for doing this. This was fun. It was a good discussion. I had fun just talking about Delphi. There's, we probably could talk about it for hours more because there's just so much stuff, and you know so much stuff. Like there's some of the stuff that you said from way back, I probably should have known, and I didn't even know. It's like, what? I didn't even know about that. So yeah. All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm the one that has to end it, right?
Yeah, I can't click the end. Yep, you got to end it.
Oh, Geraldine, right. I don't know. Thank you for the super chat. I missed that. I don't know if that's on yours. And Brutally Honest, how did I miss all those?
Brutally Honest is on mine.
Okay, so that is showing up. So Brutally Honest, Geraldine, whoever, thanks for super chatting. I think those are Anthony's. Maybe that's why. No, it's showing up on my StreamYard. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Yeah, thank you. Everybody go subscribe to True Crime Investigates if you're not subscribed to his channel yet. And then yeah, we'll chat. Today's Sunday, so I probably won't do another live for a couple days, but who freaking knows? I might. Oh, somebody just super chat. Hold on. I don't know. Is that yours or mine? But thank you, Freckle Joy.
Freckle Joy. Wow, thank you. Rock. That's awesome. That's really cool. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah. Subscribe to her. If she's going to be taking a break for a couple days, then come check out my content if you're on her channel, because I'm going to be talking about this stuff to no end. But I have some very, very, very important and special things that will definitely inform all of you about this case. It's very important. Maybe one of the better videos I'm ever going to be able to make, because it's going to give you some very good information. And I have some experts talking about some certain things this week on this whole Delphi and Odinism
yes,
stuff.
I'm anxious for that. Thank you, Brutally Honest. I'll probably be doing pre-records though, because I think I'm gonna work on some pre-records. So look for those. All right,
Okay.
bye everybody. Have a good one.
Later, everybody. Keep it Southern style, y'all.
All right.